This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Mobile, Alabama, baby, and we're going to Joe Schad covering the Miami Dolphins on the road in our American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins report. How's Mobile, my man?
It's been good. I haven't had a chance to watch too much of the practices. There's been so much of a focus on the Dolphins coaching search, and now obviously this very important, lawsuit filed by Brian Flores. So watching the offensive lineman, defensive lineman drills, not a priority. Although I guess I hear that the defensive linemen have gotten the better of the offensive linemen, which is not good if you're a Dolphins team hoping to find at least one offensive lineman here at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, yesterday was day one, right? If I'm correct.
Day two.
Day two. Yeah.
Yesterday was heavy rains, so there weren't a lot of people out there at all. They did not move it indoors. Both practices had heavy rains.
Were they at Lad Peebles or they're at South Alabama?
South Alabama, but they decided to keep it outside. Today they were expecting weather, even though it looks sunny out there now. And so they are not welcoming any of the media members to watch practice indoors. So anyone who wants to watch practice today will have to do that on television.
How's access been? Coaches and scouts?
It's not as good as it used to be, yeah.
Yeah.
They at practice they separated the media from the coaches, scouts, executives. So they have separate entrances. They're on one half of the stadium, you're on the other, so you can't engage with them at all. You're not allowed on the field. They only make like 4 players available after each practice on a podium. You can't even hear them. I mean, they're trying. There's obviously some COVID-related complications. But, you remember how we used to be able to hang out on the second floor?
I know.
They took that away. You're not allowed up there. So they have all these player-only areas. And so you just don't. And plus they have 900-plus people credentialed. And so, it's a lot harder to give people like one-on-ones when there's 900 people.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, but wow, that's a shame, dude. Because I mean, I'm so used to having like all access pretty much to everything. So I don't know how. I haven't gone the last 2 years. I went 3 years ago because it was right before the pandemic started, and so I was able to get it in. And then the pandemic started like a month later or whatever it was. But I haven't been able to go the last 2 years, and that's one of the reasons why I held off this year, because I said, we can go. We're a little tight, but we could go. But if we're not going to get that access, and that's my problem there. If I'm not getting the access, that's a shame, man.
The Dolphins don't have a coach,
right?
And general manager Chris Greer isn't talking.
So I wonder why.
Yeah. I did try to approach general manager Chris Greer right after the lawsuit came out.
Did they tackle you?
No, I was just told
they tasered you. They didn't tackle and taser you or something.
I was told that the organization would have statements at some time.
Okay, all right. So, just out of curiosity, where do you stand on this stuff? Like, the discrimination part is going to be hard to prove for him. So that's something that. Okay, but what about the bribery stuff about $100K per loss? I mean, that is one hell of an accusation. You better have some proof if you're going to make an accusation like that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing for there to reportedly have been at least one witness. It'd be another thing if there were some paper receipts, emails, texts, voice messages, anything of that nature. That would further corroborate that it wasn't just a flippant remark, a joke. I mean, it seems quite obvious to anyone that Ross will probably say, well, yeah, I mean, I was joking. I mean, everyone knew it was in the best interest of the franchise to have as high a draft pick as possible. So, yeah, I probably said something to Flo like, I'll give you $100,000 for each loss, but I obviously wasn't going to actually do that. It was a joke. So I would imagine that they would have to somehow prove that this was a real offer, not just some flippant remark. And then I saw Flo, and I hope Flo's lawsuit does facilitate some change, some needed change in the National Football League. There are a lot of problems, and it takes a lot of courage to put your name on this kind of lawsuit, especially when you're still a viable head coaching candidate. So I hope that some positive change does come from this. But as it relates specifically to the Ross allegation, yeah, I mean, that's going to be a tough one to prove. I saw Flo said that Ross also suggested that maybe he take a vacation. Well, that sort of sounds like a joke, right?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It sounds like a joke. I mean,
It's like
clearly,
a vacation in the middle of a season, dude. Come on.
clearly, if Ross said that, he clearly wasn't being serious. I mean, under what premise would Flores take a vacation? So we don't have all the details. We don't have all the information. That's what discovery is for. Let's let the details play out. I'm sure that if this is not settled, which you wouldn't think it would be, there was a defiant statement from Stephen Ross very late last night.
Yeah.
There will be some emails in the same way there was with the Bullygate, which I wasn't covering the team at that time. I thought I dodged a bullet there, not having to deal with that. But yeah, I mean, this is messy. It's just none of it is good. None of it is good from a Dolphins perspective. You're a Dolphins fan, and you're like, seriously, like, what is next? Like, why can't
No,
why
Joe,
can't it just be normal?
and Joe, Spygate lasted a while. Bullygate lasted a while. This will dwarf both of those. This is going to last a long time. This isn't a cloud that's going to hang over the team for a month. There's a cloud that's going to last over the team maybe for a couple of years. This thing is going to be going back and forth. Now, follow me on this. If Flo doesn't necessarily have any hardcore evidence, like any kind of, you know, tangible stuff, that's a paper, an email, a text, or something that can do it, and it's all he said, okay, then I think what the NFL is going to do is they're going to partner up with the Dolphins, and they're going to partner up if there's any truth with the Hugh Jackson was saying with the Browns and the Browns. Why? Because the last thing they want to do is expose these teams, because then that would expose the league. And the league is now tying itself to betting entities. So if anything, if there is no tangible evidence that Flo can put them in a corner that they can't get out of, I think they're going to fight this thing in a he said, she said. Everybody will keep their mouth shut, even if there's somebody that was, and you're going to be stuck with Stephen Ross, is what I tell the Miami Dolphin fan. So the Miami Dolphin fan that thinks this could end with Ross being forced out, actually, it may not, because the NFL may want to say, you know what? This doesn't benefit us to go after the Dolphins or the Browns, because that hurts our entire league. So maybe the Teflon League, maybe that's why they came out with that strong statement, because maybe that's a sign of things to come, that they're going to galvanize together, because it's more important to protect the shield than just the Dolphins or the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, these owners stick together. You saw it with Daniel Snyder, who's not a likable person at all and seems
Great
to
point.
be not a good
Wow.
guy. I mean,
Dude,
they also all fear what could come out. And if Stephen Ross is forced to sell or highly pressured to sell, I mean, he's not going to be the owner for that many more years. At some point, he's going to turn it over to Bruce Beal.
Yeah.
I think it would be because of something that has not yet been reported, something that is discovered in an email and a text.
Right. Some tangible evidence.
And I'm sure that that's what Flores is focused on. One thing that clearly the NFL needs to do is, create a draft lottery system. You can't just have the worst team gets the first pick. Can't have it. And go into some sort of system, whether it's top 3, top 5, weighted, whatever system you want to come up with. Clearly, you can't have teams just planning to lose. Now,
I love that, by the way. I think that's a great idea on your part. I think they should do that, so that way it kind of takes that part out of it, at least. Yeah, you're right.
And I think, it's just common sense. Now, football is different because, Well, in basketball, one player can change a franchise, and
Yeah.
it's sort of similar to football in that one quarterback can change a franchise. So I would draw a parallel
You're
between
not
NBA
going to
and
win.
basketball.
You're not going to win it with one quarterback.
Yeah, but the tankers tank for the quarterback.
No,
It's
I
always
get
about
that.
the
I get that. But
quarterback.
you still need the team because we had the quarterback, and he put up a ton of points and yards and all that, and they won squat. So you still need a team. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to have the quarterback, but he could end up like Dan Marino and Steve Bartkowski and Archie Manning and Dan Fouts and a bunch of guys that put up a bunch of stats and yards and didn't end up winning anything, and they all had the talent to win it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'd like to see a change to that system. Obviously, far more important is the National Football League figuring out a way to get some more diversity. You've seen a couple of diverse general manager hires. It's kind of hard. It makes Flores' harsh lawsuit a little harder as it relates to the Dolphins, in that they are awarded for being the most diverse organization and
Please.
giving all this money to you
Yeah.
know diverse causes.
No, just you work with them, you know it. Any of us that know, you just walk and look at the faces in that building, it's diverse as hell. So, but I don't think the racism part is tied to the Dolphins. I think it's kind of the whole hiring process. And I got to tell you,
There was the phrase "angry black man" in the lawsuit. The
yeah,
implication
yeah,
that the
yeah.
Dolphins framed Flores as an angry black man to explain his departure, when Flores' belief is that he was on the outs once he refused to go along with the tank. There's so many layers to this. I mean, listen, Brian Flores knew the plan when he took the job. They laid it out for him.
Hey,
Yeah.
dude, he worked for Belichick, who steals signs and films teams and messes up with radios. Please, the whole thing with Brian Flores now trying to act like he's holier than now, and I'm not doing this. You worked for Belichick, brother.
The
Please,
most
I mean,
explosive allegation.
that part is disgusting to me. Oh, I refuse to tank. No, but you'll cheat to win. Oh, okay. So you'll be part of cheating to win, but you won't be part of cheating to lose. Oh, okay. That's where the line in the sand is drawn for Flo. That's where I kind of call you a
I mean,
fraud.
there are other fair points that have been made, such as, well, okay, you were interested in Deshaun Watson. That didn't seem to be like a strong, ethical choice.
Right.
Um, the most explosive allegation is obviously the $100,000, which is going to be very difficult to prove that Ross was serious about that. Very difficult.
Well, there has to be tangible evidence.
Yeah,
There has to be an
but
email. There has to be a text.
what
There has to
might
be
be even more damning is if they can somehow find emails or texts that show that the Bills, no, that the Giants knew Dable was the choice when they were going to go through with their interview with Flores. Now, is that a violation of NFL rules? Is that a violation of laws? No, but it's kind of a bad look.
No,
It's
it's
a
human
bad
nature.
look.
No, Joe, it's human nature, bro. I've been in the boss's
Yeah.
role where I had to hire people and I had several interviews set up and I already knew who I was hiring. Because like the second interview I had, I loved the person. I said, okay, now I knew I had three more and I had to go through it, okay? Because I did do that. And I went through the interviews and I left myself open, like, hey, maybe he surprises us. Like Mike Tomlin. Apparently that's the story in Pittsburgh, that
Yeah.
Russ Grimm had the job and they were going to hire Russ Grimm. And then all of a sudden, Mike Tomlin sat down and blew them away. And they're, okay. So they already had the idea of hiring Russ Grimm, but then they hired Mike Tomlin instead in
I
Pittsburgh.
agree with you that there are plausible explanations.
Yeah.
There usually are, but that doesn't mean that the system isn't broken.
Right. And the Giants
Flores' general
and the
claim,
Giants have never had a black head coach.
right?
So
Flores' general claim
help.
that there's systemic racism in the NFL, and particularly in the NFL ownership group, obviously there's some validity to that.
Of course.
But it's really hard to, it's really hard. Obviously what Flores and his attorneys are hoping is that other coaches now feel empowered to come forward and join the suit and reveal the things they might have otherwise been afraid to reveal. This isn't about money. It isn't about one team or one owner or one coach. Flores really thinks that he can facilitate change. We'll see. I hope.
I doubt
Even
it.
Kenny Stills, who does not like Brian Flores, and a lot of players don't, came out and said, "Hey, I support Flo in his venture here."
Well, that's because Kenny's consistent. He's been fighting for that part of it, so he's not going to leave Flo off the boat and throw him overboard. He's going to say, no, dude, I'm fighting for black rights all the way through. So even this asshole, I got to fight for his rights. That's basically what Kenny Stills is saying. And as for angry, well, you were angry because Minka, you know what I mean? You're angry because your coaches, you're constantly changing. So whatever label you want. Flo kind of earned that label at times too. You know what I'm
There
saying?
will be some things that come out about Flo that
Yeah,
are
dude.
unflattering.
I know.
More things now. More things.
Right.
And
right.
that's the risk of the divorce lawsuit.
Yes.
Even celebrities, the most famous, powerful people in the world, stuff ends up being in the lawsuits that they would never want out there. And it's, they take forever. They cost a lot of money. You never know who to trust, who to believe, what's real, what's not, so it's, I just, I hope, listen, John Gruden's out, right? And John Gruden said some really heinous things that never would have been exposed if not for,
but you just brought up an exceptional point. Even for a scum like the guy that owns the Washington Redskins, they galvanized. They're going to galvanize for this too. It's twisted, bro. It's twisted. All right, before I let you go, Mike McDaniel set to interview finally tomorrow now. We now find out that Kyle Shanahan also sucks at reporting because he said it was today. I'm joking, Kyle. Relax.
Things change.
I know. I'm just having fun.
Things change. Lawsuits are filed.
All I do is bust balls here and have fun. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so does this change anything? Because I've thought from the get-go, Dable 1, McDaniel 2. Does it look like it's going to be the guy here? What do you think?
I mean, most of the people that I've spoken to here in Mobile believe that McDaniel has an edge going into this final round. But that doesn't mean that Kellen Moore can't somehow end up being offered the job. I'll stick with my reporting that I think McDaniel, is the leading candidate at this time. I told you that I didn't think Jim Harbaugh was going to happen. I was right. I told you that McDaniel's second interview hadn't happened. I was right. So there's a lot of people, Big O, that are noticing how often some folks like me are right on the Big O show.
Yes. And by the way,
on the internet and the social media.
And by the way, to defend Schultz, because we had him on yesterday, he never said that was a second interview. Nowhere did he ever say. Everybody else ran with it because it was done a couple days after the first interview that he got those nuggets, and then he shared them, and then everybody ran with it. He never said it, and we ran with it. So we kind of buried him.
I try not to
unfairly. So
well, I'm glad that you were able to get him as a guest.
Yeah. Well, I've known him for years. What's it called? The Dolphin Nation was burying him when he never really reported that. So it was like we were blaming the dude for something he didn't report. And that's a little unfair.
At worst, it was unclear.
Yes, and he apologized for that.
I'm sorry. At best, it was unclear.
He apologized for that. Jordan apologized for it. He says, I should have mentioned that it was the first interview. Is what I should have done. And he's right. He should have done it. But, I've known Jordan for years. Dude, he's as stand-up as they get, bro. So he's a good dude. He works hard at this craft. All right, so McDaniel, so you don't think any of this mess will hurt the McDaniel thing? Because at least I'm holding out some hope, Joe, that this guy can fix the whole offensive side. And if they keep the defensive staff, maybe this whole human Jenga thing might end up working.
I mean, I can't imagine that Mike McDaniel or Kellen Moore would turn down a chance to be the head coach of one of the 32 NFL teams.
No, don't Kellen Moore me, bro. Why do you do that? Why you Kellen Moore me? I'm trying to feel good about this now. You
Mike
kill
McDaniel
more.
will bring some positive energy, some juice.
There we go.
And it should be noted
There we go.
that he is a diverse candidate. McDaniel's
That's
father
right.
is black, his mother is white. So
That's right.
Deadspin screwed that up.
I had somebody told me that yesterday, and I went. You did, right? And I had no idea. I went to look it up, and I was like, wow, I had no idea that he's from a mixed family. That is very cool.
We should
I had no
never
idea.
assume that we know someone's race or background. Never assume.
I will say this. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for Cameron. I'm happy for Omar. I'm happy for Alan. I'm happy for everybody on the beat, Marcel, because if you do get Mike, dude, at least you get a guy with a freaking personality, man. So
Yeah, you never
God
know.
bless you, bro.
You never
Good for
know,
you.
but I would take my chances with Mike McDaniel.
Yes. Good for you, bro. Good for you. You're gonna get a guy that actually will talk and have some fun. I think he's.
By the way, I followed up and I was told that basically Flo doesn't think anything you did with the media was wrong. That he thinks that I was hoping that, like, if he would become a head coach again,
he was
that
going
he
to
would try a different approach. I now believe that he wouldn't.
It's Adam Gase all over again. You justify his behavior. Dude, it's your kid grows up and he or she's a brat and acting like a brat, and then you don't take the phone away and you don't take the computer and you don't do anything. What's the brat going to do? Continue to act like a brat. So if you don't take the team away from them and you give them another team, they're going to go, well, everything I did was right. And that's what happened with Adam Gase. And he acted like the same brat he was here, over there. And that's the same thing.
I mean, I was disappointed. I was disappointed to hear that. So
he needs to be humbled, actually, is what he needs. You know, to me, this lawsuit has no basis on the racist part, even though I know the racism is all over the NFL. But in his case, he's going to lose that part of it. It's the 100K. That's the one I'm interested in. That's the one I want to see proof. The other one, I think it's impossible to prove.
I mean, how does the 100K tie in a race, though? Is the suggestion that
no, it's two different stories.
No, but I'm saying, like, how do you even tie it together? Is the suggestion that a white coach would not have been put in that position? I mean, that's what Hugh Jackson seemed to be implying, that he was set up. You know?
I don't know. Yeah, but you know what? I hate to be like this, Joe, but I believe Flo more than I believe Hugh Jackson. I'm sorry. It's just I don't know what it is about Hugh. You know what I mean? I know Flo's angry and frustrated, but I got to figure he's telling the truth about the 100K, as crazy as it sounds. But Hugh
there's
Jackson,
no way he made that up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
In my, you know.
I think Flo is such a straight arrow guy that he's, you know, that sounds like him, man. So, but Hugh Jackson's another guy. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I saw your coaching, and I think some of your 1-31 was you, dude. I watched some of that stuff, and no.
All right, I'm traveling today, but check out the Palm Beach Post online. We'll have continued stories about Mike McDaniel and about the Brian Flores lawsuit.
And subscribe, please. All right, support Joe.
Thanks,
all right, my brother. Enjoy Mobile. Much love. You got it. Joe Schad, baby, and our American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.